Welcome to the PA is In, the show created by PAs for PAs, where codependency with your supervising physician is a thing of the past, optimal team practice is the future, and physician associate has taken the place of physician assistant as the professional title of choice. I'm TRACY Bingaman, and I'm obsessed with redefining what success as a PA looks like and what it feels like. Here you'll find the mindset shifts, systems, and processes I use to escape healthcare burnout and integrate my work into my life. Work-life balance is a myth, and an integrated life where you thrive professionally, not a balancing act, is the goal here. My mission is to help you to grow into a unicorn PA who loves their job, has abundant energy, time to spare, and work-optional financial freedom. The PA is in. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of The PA is In. This episode is part of a series all about financial basics. We're going back to basics when it comes to money, finances, cash flow, investing, all of these things that make up our financial lives. We're going to unpack them one by one and give you just a really basic idea, things that you should know, terms that you should understand, place that you can start in terms of understanding, creating margin in your life when it comes to money. Welcome back to another episode in our Back to Basics. We're talking about basic financial principles. Sarah, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me back.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about investing in terms of Roth versus traditional when we're talking about IRA or even status of money inside of a 401k. We're going to talk a little bit about what a backdoor Roth is and how you can get money into a backdoor Roth, and then some specifics that everyone should know about their own risk tolerance and where we are supposed to be putting this money inside of these investments. So a lot of ground to cover, but still kind of keeping it basic in terms of investing. So we'll start out with Roth versus traditional. What the heck is Roth? Is it going to make us more money? Why does it matter?
Everyone talks about the Roth and they love the Roth. But again, with clarifying terms, are you talking about a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k? They're all a little bit different. So we talked in the last episode about 401k versus IRA, and there are Roth and traditional versions of both. Roth 401k is more recent. It came out in the past few years that became an option. So for many places, it might not even be an option for you. You only have the regular traditional 401k or 403b. But for IRAs, the individual retirement accounts, Roth and traditional are both options for you. So traditional, and the difference is how are they taxed? So traditional IRAs are tax deductible. So you lower your taxable income now. You're not going to pay taxes now on the money. You invest it in the IRA, and then in 40, 50 years, whatever, when you withdraw the money from your traditional IRA, that's when you pay taxes on that money. So the benefit can be you lower your taxable income now. You're not paying as much in taxes. And then when you do withdraw the money when you're 75 years old, you're likely at probably a lower income tax bracket anyway. So yes, you're going to pay taxes, but maybe less than you would have paid when you were 35 and making $200,000 a year. So that's the tax favorability of a traditional IRA. With a Roth IRA, the difference is you contribute after-tax money. So you pay your taxes now, put in the money, it grows tax-free. Both of them grow tax-free. And then when you withdraw the money from your Roth IRA, when you're 75, 90, 100 years old, you don't pay any taxes because you already paid the taxes at the beginning. You don't pay any taxes at the end. So they're just for traditional, no taxes now, taxes later. Roth, you pay your taxes now, you withdraw tax-free.
As PAs, we know how to provide excellent care to our patients, but inevitably, there are work-related issues that leave us, well, stumped. It could be a question about reimbursement or malpractice insurance or even renegotiating your contract. Or you might be looking for tips on having more effective conversations with patients and colleagues. Or maybe you want to move up in your career, but you're not sure if that means starting a new role, taking on a leadership position, or changing specialties. For everything I just mentioned, AAPA's Career Central has you covered. With more than 200 resources and a searchable database, you can find anything you need in minutes. Solve your next career challenge at aapa.org/career central. In my experience, most people end up with a mix of both simply because Roth is often not offered at a 401k or 403b at work. And if you think about the amount of money that you're putting in versus the amount of money that you're taking out, this just highlights the power of compound interest and why we're bothering to talk about investing as opposed to saving. So when you're investing, you put a certain amount of money in, and that money earns you money. But then the money that you earned earns you money. And so as your principal grows, where you invested some, and as the principal grows and grows, you're earning more in the earnings on the principal, which is how compound interest works. I don't feel like that was the best explanation of it. Maybe you have a better one, Sarah. But when you think about Roth, you put it in, it grows to be significantly exponentially more than you initially contributed. So paying taxes on it now sounds inconvenient for the short term in terms of like, oh, I got to pay taxes now when I earn the money. But when you withdraw it tax free. And that's oftentimes a much, much higher quantity of money because of the power of compound interest. So Roth, if you can, invest either way, right? So don't not invest because it's only a traditional option. But if Roth is available to you, consider utilizing that.
And that's the other thing to think about too, which we'll get into, what are we investing in, but also hear about diversification. And you want to diversify what you're invested in. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't invest in just one thing, because if that crashes, you literally have lost all your money. And that's what makes people worried about the stock market, is if it crashes and I have no money left. So diversifying in the types of things you're invested in, but also diversifying in how are they tax favored? Are you paying taxes now or later, and having some diversification in that can be helpful for people. And depending on your personal situation, you might lean more towards one or the other. And again, just what are you offered? Do you want to do, a traditional 403b at work and a Roth IRA, in that way, and mix it up that way? Maybe have both. Maybe have a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Whatever works for you, wherever you already started having your money. The other thing with traditional and Roth IRAs is like you alluded to, Tracy, can you even invest in them? There's different rules. So with a traditional IRA, you can contribute. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You can always contribute to a traditional IRA. But will it lower your taxable income and you get that benefit? I mean, that's a point of a traditional IRA, is lowering your taxable income now. There's limits to that. So I wrote down on my little cheat sheet here for married filing jointly, because that is my situation. So I'm just going to be a little selfish here with my situation, but the IRS has different rules for married. How do you do your taxes? Are you married filing jointly? Are you head of household? Are you married filing singly? Are you a single taxpayer and you file just as a single person? There's different income limits for all of those. So look up you can easily Google it. You can look up what your personal situation is. But if you're married filing jointly, and together, you and your spouse make $143,000 or more, which I think is probably going to be likely for most PAs and healthcare professionals who listen to this, you cannot do the tax deduction. You can still contribute to a traditional IRA, but you're not going to get the tax deduction. And there's a phase up here. So if you make $123,000 and you're married filing jointly, so 123 or less, you will get the tax deduction. If you make between 123 and 143, there's a phase out where you get like a just percentage. You get a little tax deduction, but it's not the maximum. If you make 143 or higher, you're not getting any tax deduction. So you can still contribute to the traditional, but you're missing the point of it, of getting your lower taxes now. With the Roth, they also have an income limit for the Roth. So if you are married filing jointly and make $230,000 or less, you can contribute to a Roth IRA. If you make $240,000 and again, this is married filing jointly, you and your spouse make $240,000 or more, which can be very possible with if you have two PAs, two healthcare workers, 240 or more, you cannot contribute to a Roth IRA. You are not allowed to do it. And again, there's a little phase out here between 230 and 240. There's a phase out of how much you're allowed to contribute. You won't be able to do the full 7,000, but there's a phase out. So you have to look at those income limits. So you might say, hey, my spouse and I are married filing jointly. Together, we make $300,000 because we're both PAs. So I don't want to contribute to the traditional because we make $300,000. I'm not going to get the tax break now. But I can't contribute to the Roth because we make $300,000. I make too much for that. What do I do here? Some people get stuck in there. And that's where the Backdoor Roth comes in. So a lot of people have heard about the Backdoor Roth, and it's a way to contribute money to a Roth IRA, even if you don't meet the income requirements. So you're going through the back door, not the front door. So if you make over the income limit, you're married filing jointly, make $300,000, you can't contribute directly to a Roth IRA. The Backdoor Roth says, okay, contribute the money to a traditional IRA. You can still do that. Doesn't matter how much. You can make $1 million and contribute your $7,000 per spouse to your own traditional IRAs. So it says, contribute your money to the traditional IRA. You fill out a tax paper form, and then there's a little bit of a holding period, I don't know, a few days, a week. Transfer the money from the traditional IRA to the Roth IRA. Now you have your money in a Roth IRA. The only thing to remember with this is, like we talked about, with a traditional IRA, you pay taxes when you withdraw the money. So if you're withdrawing from a traditional IRA and moving it to a Roth IRA, you need to pay taxes on that money. But because you filled out this IRS form, it says, hey, the money that I contributed was already taxed. I didn't say, do pre-tax money. I'm not contributing to the traditional IRA to lower my taxable income because I don't meet the requirements. I'm not doing this. I'm using my post-tax money from my regular bank account and putting it in here, moving it to the Roth IRA. So you filled out the forms, you crossed your T's, dotted your I's. So you were able to move that money over. You don't have to pay taxes. You proved this is already taxed money, so you don't have to pay taxes. And now your money's in the Roth IRA and can continue to grow tax-free. You withdraw it from the Roth IRA when you retire, and you don't have to pay taxes. That's the Backdoor Roth. But that's the thing to remember. The money you withdraw technically would be taxed. So if you already have money in a traditional IRA, that's where it can get dicey because you're withdrawing from a traditional IRA where there's already money in there. You would have to have it taxed. So a lot of times, if you're going to do a Backdoor Roth, most financial experts will say, open a traditional IRA that's empty, that has nothing in it. You're going to put in your $7,000. A week or so later, move it over, and your traditional is going to be empty, which is fine because it's getting that money taxed, and that's where it can get dicey. You could do it at any time. You can move money from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, but be prepared to pay the taxes on that.
Right. And essentially, if you're really sort of optimizing your investment strategy and you say, we have these funds in traditional, they'll say it's traditional funds, we're going to roll them into Roth. You can do that, but you have to prepare for the tax bill. There will be a tax bill. They will send you a form. You will have to declare it as part of income, or, that you're paying the taxes now, saying, hey, I understand, I'm realizing this now, I'm paying the taxes now so that I don't have to pay it later. It's not a bad strategy. It's just something that if you're going to do it, you need to do it well. You need to do it correctly. You need to fill out the appropriate forms. You need to declare to the government that you're doing it when you file your taxes. We are not tax experts, but like everyone should have one, and you should have your accountant and your financial advisor help you to make sure that you're doing this in a way that is reasonable and correct and not illegal.
That's probably something that we should point out as we do these back to basics episodes, is we are not tax experts. We are not financial advisors. This is not an advisement to you of what you should do, but it's just education, food for thought. This is not particular investing advice for you. So if you want it, especially with things like a Backdoor Roth, I would say, if you have a financial advisor, you can talk to them. The White Coat Investor is a great resource. He's a physician who teaches people about investing and money and these types of things. And he has a step-by-step of how to do a backdoor Roth. So if you don't have a financial advisor or you feel comfortable doing it yourself, I would recommend still following his steps of very clearly what you need to do.
Confidence is so important in life, at work, and in business. And there is one thing I did years ago that skyrocketed my confidence. Feeling good makes such a difference in the way that we show up in the world. The confidence booster, one of the biggest ones ever, was a virtual color consult with Created Colorful. You sign up, tell them about yourself in a quick questionnaire, and then you take photos of yourself. No makeup, with natural lighting and various colors of fabric draped across your chest. Send in all those photos and one of the virtual color specialists reviews them. They send you an email with details on your season, your ideal colors, and knockout colors that are unique to you. Let me tell you, when I sit down behind this podcast microphone to record a video and I'm wearing a top in one of my knockout colors, I feel like an entirely different person. Add in some lipstick in my color palette and it's the chef's kiss of confidence and self-care. Use the discount code TRACY or the link in the show notes for $20 off any consult, gift consult, or bundle. And get ready to boost your confidence and simplify your wardrobe. Yes, so let's move on and talk about risk tolerance. What is this? How do we know what ours is? How can we sort of figure that out in terms of, how comfortable we feel with the things that we're investing in and what a difference that makes in terms of the choices that we're going to choose?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So risk tolerance is another word you hear about when you're investing, like diversification and these things. So risk tolerance is how tolerant are you of risk? How risky do you want to be? And so I remember when I was a brand new PA and I had met with a financial advisor at one point, and he asked me about risk tolerance. And I was like, well, no, I am risk adverse. I don't like risk. I'm not a risky person, just in general. Like I am just a conservative type of person and I don't want to do anything risky. Like I'm not going to be bungee jumping out of an airplane. Like I'm not skydiving. I don't do risks like that. I'm just not a risky person. So, and with money, and like we've talked about before in previous episodes, I just have more of a scarcity mindset and I like to hold on to my money and save it because who knows, just in case. So I don't want any risk. It was my initial thought about money is I don't want to lose my money. I want it to grow, but I don't want to lose any of it. And I don't want any risk is my first thought about money. But that's not what we want when we're investing. There has to be some risk because if you choose to say, and we talked about in the previous episode about saving versus investing, if you choose to say, I want to save my money in my piggy bank, in my house, and it won't have any risk. I can't lose it, unless someone breaks into my house or the house burns down. But this money's going to be sitting right here. I'm looking at it. I can't lose it. That's still a risk because 50 years from now, this is all the money I'm going to have. It's going to buy me, half a gallon of milk, not a week's worth of groceries. You still are putting yourself up for risk. Your future self is now at risk because you haven't invested this money and it's not growing. So there needs to be some risk. But you don't have to be super risky. On the flip side of that, to be like, ooh, really risky things when we talk about investing money would be things that have a high chance of failing. So, you have a high chance of making a lot of money, but you have a high chance of failing. Like we saw a lot with crypto going in and out with cryptocurrency. Again, it means for some people, and depending what money you're using, you could make a lot there, but you could also lose a lot. If you are investing in a brand new business and you're an angel investor for them, and maybe you can make a lot of money. Maybe this is the next Microsoft, or maybe it's a total flop and no one's going to hear about this company and you're going to lose all the money you invested in them. So that's kind of the flip side of risk tolerance is what things are you putting your money into that denotes how much risk you're taking.
Okay. When we have worked with financial advisors in the past, they have done an intake, almost like you get an intake when you're seeing a provider and they review your history and on that intake, it assesses your risk tolerance. So I have had them say, how comfortable are you with the market? How aggressive do you want to be? And oftentimes that dovetails with how much time you have between you and retirement. So I see this as sort of like the opportunity for aggressive investing earlier on when you say, hey, we've got 30, 40, 50 years until we're going to need or want to use this money. You can stand to be a little more aggressive or come on the more aggressive end of the spectrum. But as you're getting ready to withdraw that money, as you're getting ready to use that money for retirement, you don't want to have it in something that is going up, down, because if you're in a year where you decide to draw on it and it's, not in the position where you want, that can affect you on a more, short-term gain or short-term aspect in terms of I'm getting ready to withdraw that. I also, similar to you, had some experience with following Dave Ramsey and learning what Dave Ramsey taught. And one thing that he said that always resonated with me was the only people that get hurt on a roller coaster are the ones that jump off. And so if you think about the stock market in terms of a roller coaster, it goes up, it goes down. We don't know exactly what it's going to do. It does always go up over time, which we can talk about. But the people who say, hey, the market crashed in 2009 and I lost everything, you only lost everything if you sold at the bottom. Everything did go down. So your account values did go down, but if you didn't sell, you didn't actualize that loss. And then once it came back up, you didn't actually lose. You lost in theory as opposed to losing actually. So let's talk about those market fluctuations. And to the person listening who's like, but it does sometimes go down. Like, what can we say to them?
Yeah. A good slogan to remember is time in the market beats timing the market. So the more time in the market you have, the better. If you have a 50-year investing time horizon, you're 20 years old, you're investing this money. I don't plan to touch it until I'm 70 years old and retired. That's 50 years. If you have 50 years, that's a lot of time in the market. Your money will grow. Versus timing the market, when people are timing, buy low, sell high, that's trying to time the market. And that's where you're going to lose your money. That's where it's almost impossible to time the market because you have to be right twice. You have to buy low. So number one, you have to predict, hey, is this the lowest the market's going to be, or is it going to drop any more? You have to time that right. And maybe you get it right. But then you have to time the high. Is this the highest my investment's going to rise, or is it going to go higher? So you have to time both of those correctly. To get one of them correct is almost impossible. To get both is almost completely impossible. So timing the market like that is where you're going to lose money. You're not going to make money. So really, like I set it and forget it. Automatic investments, and you just have a good investment that you're investing in for a long time horizon. That's where you're going to grow wealth, and that's where you're going to make your money. And like you said, over time, with historically, and we can't always say, we can't predict the future. We don't know what's going to happen with the stock market. Historically, since 1925, when the stock market started, or 1920, whatever, over time, if you look at the big picture, the stock market has gone up over time. So our theory, our hope, why we're investing is we anticipate that the stock market will continue to go up over time, looking at stepping back with big picture. If for some reason the stock market doesn't go up over time, then I think we have bigger things to worry about of a global economy crash and the world is ending. But if you, like you said, if you do, so big picture, if I'm looking at 20, 30 years, stock market has gone up. If you zoom in to look at 1 year period, a 5-year period, you're going to see a big down. The Great Depression, that was a huge down. 2008, 2009, that's a huge down. March of 2020, as we know, market crashed way down then. So if you zoom in at these little points in time, you're going to see a lot of fluctuation, a lot of up and down. You're going to see some big downs. So that's why when we talk about investing in the stock market, so it is very risky. It's very risky to invest money in the stock market for a short period of time. To say, hey, I'm going to invest in these stocks or this stock for a 6-month period, and then I need my money back. That's where it gets very risky, because who knows what's going to happen in 6 months? Maybe it'll go up, maybe it'll go way down. Who knows what's going to happen to your money? You have a high chance of losing money. But if you say I want to invest in the stock market for the next 35 years, okay, you're gonna grow your money in that time frame. Your chance of losing that money is very low.
Yeah. Studies show that investing consistently and staying invested is more likely to earn you more money than investing sporadically and trying to do this like timing in and out, timing in and out. Investing consistently matters more than what you're invested in. So we're going to talk next time about specifically what to put this money into in terms of mutual funds or stocks or bonds or where you put the money to grow. But the bottom line is that putting it in again and again, month after month, year after year, and having it in something that is on average growing over time is the single best way to end up with more money and that wealth that you're going to want when it's time to retire than trying to be an expert. Also, I don't know about you, but I'm an expert at plastic surgery. I'm very good at Botox. I'm a pretty good mom. There are things that I do on a day-to-day basis that I know of and I'm really good at. Timing the market is not one of those things. It's not something that I have the time or the bandwidth to spend all of this time thinking about or even worrying about. So I am definitely a set it and forget it, automatic type of, I know what it's invested in. I evaluate it regularly, but I don't do it daily. I'm not looking at the market daily. I'm not worrying about what the market is doing on a daily basis either.
Exactly.
All right, Sarah, I think that's all for today, and we will see you next time.
All right. I'll see you next time.
Finances can be one of these topics that is just fraught with potential emotions, and that sometimes we don't feel that comfortable talking about money to the people in our lives. So I hope that this series of episodes serves as a guidepost for you and that you learn something to take back to your own management of your personal finances that puts you just 1% more in the direction of your money goals. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to another episode of The PA is In. That's all for today. This PA is out. Congratulations, you've just joined an awesome club. By listening to a full episode of The PA is In, you are officially on the Unicorn PA team. Welcome aboard. What most team members do is they subscribe to the podcast because that allows them to automatically get the latest episode of the show. The life of your dreams exists on the other side of taking action. Keep making small shifts and keep getting better. Your life will improve, your career will soar, and you will have the confidence you need to create your own success. I will see you in the next episode. This PA is out.